In the quiet suburban town of Maple Creek, Daniel Harper was the kind of man everyone trusted without hesitation. He smiled politely at neighbors, helped carry groceries, and waved at passing patrol cars with effortless charm. Every Sunday, he attended church with his family, always sitting in the second row, greeting familiar faces warmly. Neighbors often borrowed tools or ladders, returning them days later, never worried, never suspicious. He hosted summer barbecues, children running across his manicured lawn, laughter filling the air, his presence calm and reassuring. To his wife, he was patient, attentive, and always present for the small details of daily life. To his children, he was a hero, the man who could fix anything, the protector who always tucked them in at night. Friends described him as dependable, kind, the epitome of a perfect neighbor and husband. But behind closed doors, Daniel Harper hid a secret that would eventually shock the entire town. It began nearly 9 years earlier, when a young woman named Claire Thompson disappeared without a trace. She was last seen leaving a grocery store, just 6 blocks from the Harper home, smiling as she waved to a friend. Police launched a full investigation but found no leads, no evidence, no connection to any suspect. Months later, another woman vanished in the same pattern, only blocks away, leaving the community on edge. The town comforted itself with the idea that these were rare, isolated incidents, coincidences that would never recur. Daniel Harper remained visibly supportive of the investigations, attending every community meeting and search party. He comforted grieving families with sympathy, his expressions carefully measured, convincing and calm. Investigators would later note that he seemed to monitor media coverage obsessively, studying police statements with precision. Inside his home, everything appeared ordinary, orderly, spotless, even inviting. Family photos lined the walls in symmetrical order, counters gleaming, soft music filling the evenings. But at the end of a narrow hallway, a basement door remained locked with 3 reinforced bolts. When asked about it, Daniel smiled and said it contained sensitive equipment and valuable documents requiring extra security. No one questioned why the locks were on the outside rather than the inside. For 9 years, that basement remained unnoticed, invisible in plain sight. It was only after an anonymous tip reached the authorities that suspicion took root. The caller said something disturbing was hidden beneath the Harper house, urging immediate investigation. Police arrived with a search warrant on a calm Thursday afternoon, stepping into the Harper residence quietly. Daniel answered the door with the same composed smile he had perfected over years of social performance. He invited officers inside, pouring tea and remaining calm as they asked questions about his routines and whereabouts. Every gesture, every word, was designed to appear normal, to hide the growing darkness below. Officers noticed the basement door at the end of the hallway, locked with 3 heavy bolts and scratch marks along the edges. A faint metallic odor seemed to waft up from the dark opening, subtle yet chilling to those who smelled it. Daniel unlocked each bolt with slow precision, never faltering, never revealing emotion, his hands steady. The moment the 3rd lock clicked open, a cold draft slipped into the hallway, carrying a faint, inexplicable metallic scent. Detectives shone their flashlights into the black void, illuminating concrete stairs descending into darkness. The basement seemed normal at first, then unsettlingly organized, methodical, as if someone had spent years planning its use. Restraints were bolted to the floor, silent, ominous, the padding along the walls absorbing sound with eerie efficiency. Investigators discovered containers neatly labeled with personal belongings of multiple missing women, a record of disappearances spanning years. Everything was arranged with deliberate care, terrifying in its precision, as if the chaos of life had no place here. Upstairs, Daniel Harper sipped tea, calm, watching every movement silently, calculating, patient. He did not panic, did not cry, did not appear concerned, only observed, like a man in control of every variable. Interrogation revealed a chilling mind, socially integrated, intelligent, patient, and methodical. He separated family life from his crimes with almost surgical efficiency, maintaining an illusion of normalcy flawlessly. Psychologists later described him as a master of compartmentalization, a predator cloaked in suburban respectability. Victims were chosen carefully, isolated, unnoticed, unlikely to be immediately linked, disappearing without trace. Daniel monitored news coverage obsessively, adjusting his methods to avoid detection, always staying a step ahead. The search parties he attended were a tool for surveillance to monitor police, media, and community response. Investigators pieced together a timeline stretching nearly a decade, the horror growing with each new discovery. Every missing person became a thread, leading directly to the Harper basement, a silent repository of fear. Detectives found that he observed trends in media, avoided patterns, and planned meticulously for years. The house itself was a paradox. Normal, inviting, completely ordinary on the surface, concealing unimaginable terror below. He remained a loving father and husband, maintaining warmth and charm while orchestrating crimes in silence. The trial drew national attention, forensic evidence overwhelming, neighbors in disbelief, families horrified. Testimonies painted a portrait of a man who could smile while committing monstrous acts, invisible in plain sight. Daniel Harper received multiple life sentences without parole, his calm demeanor never wavering, his secrets finally revealed. Even after his conviction, questions remained. How many other perfect neighbors were hiding similar horrors? The house was eventually sold, renovated, but its dark history left an indelible mark on the town's psyche. Residents began locking doors at night, sleeping uneasily, the concept of perfect normalcy forever tainted. The trial exposed a terrifying truth. The scariest monsters are those who hide behind everyday smiles. Forensic experts detailed the basement meticulously. Soundproofed walls, metal restraints, labeled containers, tools for control. Investigators noted that he monitored emergency services and local police scanners to anticipate any investigation. His ability to appear normal allowed him to operate under the radar for nearly a decade, undetected. The psychological profile revealed obsessive organization, extreme patience, and meticulous attention to detail. Neighbors recalled his friendly demeanor, oblivious to the darkness that lurked beneath the surface. The local media revisited old cases, discovering patterns previously unnoticed, all pointing back to the Harper residence. Police reconstructed movements, timings, and alibis, revealing careful planning and precision in every action. Each missing person was strategically selected based on location, routine, and likelihood of unnoticed disappearance. The search of the basement confirmed that Daniel controlled every element: environment, evidence, and perception. Every container, restraint, and label reflected a mind that valued control over chaos, normality over suspicion. Upstairs, family photographs and laughter masked the terror below, the perfect mask hiding the unthinkable. Courtroom footage captured stunned jurors and neighbors, their disbelief growing with every piece of evidence. Daniel Harper's calmness during testimony added to the unease, a man who felt no remorse for years of terror. The forensic timeline confirmed that victims had been detained in a controlled environment, unseen, unheard, untouched. Each detail painted a psychological portrait of meticulous cruelty, patience, and intelligence intertwined with normalcy. The trial concluded, yet the community remained haunted, a reminder that appearances can deceive, that evil can be ordinary. Even after sentencing, local law enforcement revisited other unsolved cases, wondering what they might have missed. The house stood as a monument to hidden horror, its secrets partially revealed but still unsettling to those nearby. Psychologists and criminologists studied the case for decades, emphasizing warning signs and behavioral patterns. The town learned a harsh lesson. Perfection can conceal darkness, smiles can hide intent, normalcy can be terrifying. Maple Creek slowly returned to daily life, but conversations about neighbors and appearances never sounded the same again. Children grew up with a newfound wariness, adults with a new vigilance. The town forever changed. Because the most disturbing truth was not only what Daniel did, but how convincingly he seemed ordinary while doing it. For years, families had unknowingly lived beside a predator, smiles masking violence, barbecues hiding terror. Even today, Maple Creek residents sometimes glance at a neighbor's perfectly kept lawn and wonder, how well do we really know those around us? How many others walk among us flawlessly integrated, their private horrors never discovered, their basements concealed? The story of Daniel Harper reminds us that appearances can be deceiving, and vigilance is often the only protection against hidden evil. No alarm bell, no warning signs, only the gradual realization that the familiar can be dangerous. The forensic evidence, the labeled containers, the soundproof walls, they all pointed to a mind beyond ordinary comprehension. The pattern, the timing, the careful victim selection, all revealed an intelligence that exploited trust and routine. Even the police officers who first unlocked the basement were stunned at the methodical nature of the crime scene. Each detail spoke of premeditation, obsession, and a terrifyingly calm demeanor maintained throughout years of crime. Neighbors who once praised Daniel's friendliness now recall unease, subtle signals they never recognized at the time. The psychological complexity of the case became a benchmark for studying organized criminal minds and suburban predators. Despite his exposure, questions lingered. What had been truly missed? What other subtle clues existed unnoticed? Experts analyzed the case for years, drawing conclusions about control, manipulation, and the terrifying normalcy of evil. And for Maple Creek, the lesson remained clear. Trust cautiously, observe closely, and never assume perfection equates to innocence. Because sometimes the perfect husband hides the darkest secrets, and the most terrifying things lurk beneath ordinary floors. If you enjoyed this true crime story, make sure to like, subscribe, and visit Obscure Diaries for more chilling investigations.